Morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Harika Kishore. On behalf of Vista's Learning, I'm here as your biology educator. vlearning, it's an online education platform which works with an ideology of providing quality education for all. Visit our website www.v-learning.in where you're going to get an access for all the live classes, recorded sessions, study materials, concept videos, and also you're going to get this lecture notes in the form of PDFs. And also make sure to get your acquaintance with all the channels that are available and subscribe to the channel Vistas Learning Class 11 and 12. If you find this session useful and interesting, make sure to click on the like as well as share this session with your friends. And also click on the bell icon so that you're going to get all the upcoming video notifications. Now, so here we are going to begin a new chapter, that is environmental issues, which comes under the unit ecology. Let's start. If you heard the word environmental issues, so environmental issues, there are so many issues which starts like increasing population. As the population is increasing, definitely it is going to show its effect on increasing pollution, no matter like air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, otherwise called as soil pollution, noise. These are all the things. As a need of the raising, increasing number of the population size is there, there is a continuous demand for the food, shelter, facilities, or the roads and even automobiles. These are all the things which works in common that are going to contribute to the lots and lots of environmental related issues like global warming and even deforestation, cut down of the woods, cut down of the forest, right? So we are going to address all these issues starting with air pollution in this session. Let's start our session. So as we just now mentioned that human population size, population density has grown tremendously, enormously grown, and it's keep on growing over a last 100 years. As the population size keeps on increasing and increasing, there is an increase in demand for food, water, home, electricity, roads, automobiles, and also numerous other commodities. Nothing but basic goods. Like we can say essentials, requirements. As the population size keeps on increasing, there is an increase in the demand for all these things. Now, so here the demand, the raising demand for the whether it is the food, shelter, or the other commodities like roads, automobiles, uses of automobiles, and thereby it is exerting harmful gases into the atmosphere, into the environment, which leads to further pollution of air, water, right? So these are all related, interconnected, and this increasing demand, these demands are exerting tremendous pressure on our natural resources. Natural resources which include air, water, soil, we can also call land. These are all natural resources. Soil. And this increasing demand are going to or also contributing to the pollution that is happening to our natural resources, which include air, water, land, or soil. So the need of the our immediate requirement, our immediate requirement is to decrease, is to check the degradation as well as depletion that is happening to our precious natural resources. We have to protect our natural resources, and also we have to reduce the pollution that has been causing to our natural resources like air, water, soil, without halting, slowing down, or stopping, without slowing down the process of development. We need the development also, but parallelly, the development process has to be parallelly synchronized with the checking or with the protection that we have to give towards our natural resources, that is the protecting natural resources, and also our precious natural resources has to be protected, and we need to decrease the pollution that is happening, and this is all together has to happen with the development. All this has to take place parallelly. If we are focusing only on the development, it is going to deteriorate, it is going to decrease our precious resources, and the natural resources availability is a very, very crucial thing for the sustained survival of the humankind. So we need to protect our precious natural resources. Parallelly, we have to reduce the pollution that is happening to our natural resources. Now, what do you mean by this pollution? We all are very aware of what is this pollution. It is an undesirable change that is going to be happen to our natural resources, to its physical form and also biological form, chemical form of the natural resources, right? So, and the major reason for this, or the liquid particles or the solid particles, what we call it as a particulate matter, which are very dangerous, which are very dangerous not only for our health but also to the health of the plant system, but also to the health of the animal system. So here, pollution is any undesirable. Undesirable means unwanted. We don't need that change to be happen. Any undesirable changes that is going to happen to our natural resources. At what characteristic? At its physical characteristics, chemical characteristics, and also biological characteristics. So here, pollution is any undesirable change in physical, chemical, biological characteristics of natural resources like air, land, water, or soil. This is called pollution. This is to define your pollution. And we know that the particulates are nothing but elements, molecules, maybe solids or liquid droplets that are suspended in the air, and they are very dangerous. They are very, some of them are very dangerous in nature. So here, and that agents which brings about this pollution, we call it as a pollutants. These are all nothing but elements, molecules, solid or the liquid particles, which keep suspended in the air. And so most of them are dangerous in nature. So that substances, we call it as that type of elements, molecules, we call it as pollutants. So here, agents that brings about such an undesirable changes to our environment, we call it as pollutants. Now, majorly these pollutants are particulate matters. And we know that this particulate matters may be of natural type or artificial type, like pollens. These are all the particulate matters which brings about some pollution to the air. Even ash, smoke that is coming from the industries, all these are the chemicals that has been released into the water or into the air by the industries or thermal plant systems. These are all collectively we can call it as in pollutants, right? Now, in order to control environmental pollution, the government of India has passed an act, and that act is Environment Protection Act, which comes into the year 1986 to protect and to improve the quality of our environment in terms of quality air, quality water, quality soil. The motto is to protect and to improve the quality of our environment. The act, and that act is called as Environmental Protection Act, that was given by the government of India in the year 1986. This point is important to remember. Moving on. So here, let's in detail discuss about the air pollution, right? So we have been addressing about the environmental issues. Now, we are about to understand in detail about what is this air pollution and the measure to control it. So here, we know that we are dependent on air. While we respire, we inhale oxygen. Why we need this oxygen? We very well know that the oxygen presence is very, very much needed for the oxidation of the carbohydrates what we are taking in the form of a food. These carbohydrates has to undergo a series of the reactions. We call it as a pathway, like glycolysis followed by the Krebs cycle, and followed by the electron transport chain, which finally leads to the formation of the energy in the form of ATP. Ultimate thing is the production of ATP, and that production of ATP is by the means of the starting material is the carbohydrates what we are taking, that means food. Here, in a simple term, the food has to break down to give stress to the energy in the form of ATP. For this process to happen, the presence of the oxygen is needed, and the oxygen we are getting by breathing. So definitely we are depend on air, that is oxygen. We need oxygen for our respiratory needs. And if this air is polluted, then what happens? Air pollutants, which brings about the pollution of air, causes injury to all the living organisms, no matter whether they are plant systems or animals, which includes humans. In what way they are going to show its effect? The pollutants which are present in the air, that is air pollution, is going to show its adverse effect by reducing the growth and the yield of the crop, and causes the premature deaths in the case of plant systems. And in the case of animal system, air pollutants also very harmful. Deleteriously, very harmfully affects the respiratory system of humans as well as animals. Now, the harmful effects. What are the harmful effects that has been shown on the plant system, or the animal system, or the human system? It depends upon some factors, and that factors are concentration of pollutants. Definitely, if the concentration of the pollutants are more, the effect is also more. If the concentration of the pollutants are less, then the effect which is shown is also less. So these are the factors which are going to influence its effect. So the first one is the concentration of the pollutants that are present in the air, and duration of the exposure, whether he or she or the animal or the plant has been exposed for the longer duration of time or shorter duration of the time. This is also one of the factor on which the effect depends on. And also organism, whether it is a higher level of organism or lower level of organism, it also matters, right? So these are all the factors upon which the effect of the pollutants that are present in the air are going to show. Now, moving on. Smoke stocks that of thermal power plants and smelter and other industries releases particulate matter, pollutants, and gaseous air pollutants together with some of harmless gases such as nitrogen and oxygen. But this particulate matter which is coming out of this smokestacks as well as smelter, these gases, the released gases has to be filtered first, has to be separated, has to undergo a separation process such that they are going to result in the release of harmless gases. Instead, they are going to release a harmful gases. We are avoiding that situation. Which situation? We are avoiding the situation of releasing of harmful gases, and we are filtering it. We are filtering the air which consisting of this particulate matter such that we are resulted in the release of harmless gases into the atmosphere. So here, these pollutants are nothing but particulate matter. Particulate matters containing air. Pollutants must be separated and filtered out before, thereby releasing the harmless gases into the atmosphere. We are separating it. We are filtering it. Filtering what? Filtering particulate matter. Particulate matter is present in the air. That is what we are considering that air as a polluted air, right? Now, for this separation, there's so many techniques which has been used. And this is an image that has been taken directly from your NCERT textbook. Here, they have given an image so that they're going to explain about two different separating techniques. So, by which the particulate matter has been filtered off. In that, the first one is scrubber. We are using this scrubber to remove the particulate matter that is present in the air. That is what we are considering that type of air as a dirty air, polluted air, simple. And another method which is useful to separate this particulate matter is electrostatic precipitator. By using the electrostatic precipitator, we are able to filter, separate the particulate matter that is present in the polluted air. Clear? Let's understand first about how these electrostatic precipitators are useful to remove the particulate matter. Now, so if you look at the arrangement that is present in the electrostatic precipitator, here is a direction by which we are passing the dirty air, polluted air. Polluted air is allowed to pass in this direction such that the polluted air contains dust particles, nothing but particulate matter or pollutants. Now, these dust particles where inside this electrostatic precipitator, we have negatively charged wires. And these negatively charged wires are subjected to electrical discharge. Electrical discharge. That means they will release electrons. And that is called as discharge corona. It's nothing but the release of the electrons. So here we have the release of the electrons. Whatever the electrons that are released are going to surround each and every dust particle. Assume that these are the dust particles. Okay, these are dust particles. These are dust particles that are present in the dirty air. That is polluted air. Now, when this negatively charged wire shows the discharge corona, that is a release of the electrons, whatever the released electrons are going to surround each and every dust particle. The released electron surrounds each and every dust particle, makes this dust particle, each and every dust particle as negatively charged particles. Now, on the other side, we have an arrangement and that is called as collection plates. Here we have plates. These are all plates, right? And these are grounded. That means they are fixed below the level of the ground. So here, these collection plates will have positive charge, right? When this negatively charged dust particles are moving across in between these plates, each and every dust particle that has been surrounded by the electrons which got the negative charge stuck to this positive charge, right? And thereby the dust particles have been stuck to the plates and the clean air is passed to the other side. That is how these electrostatic precipitators are useful to filter the dirty air and thereby trapping all the dust particles which are present in the polluted air and making this polluted air into clean air. So this is one method by which the polluted air is converted into pure and clean air. That means it is completely devoid of dust particles now, right? Let's understand about another method. Here we are using scrubbers. Same way, this is an inlet by which we allowed the dirty air to enter. So this is the direction by which the dirt air enters inside the scrubber. So here we have a layer on which the water and lime spray, the water and lime composition has been sprayed on this layer. So, while the dirty air is passing through it, which consists of CO2, this CO2 reacts with lime and which results in the formation of calcium sulfates. And this calcium sulfate, thereby, it is not allowing the harmful CO2 to come out of the scrubber. That means this lime composition which has been sprayed on the layer that is present in this scrubber make CO2 trap. The CO2 will not come out. That is an idea. And from this way, we'll get the clean air passing out of the scrubber. And whatever the dust particles which are present, solid particles, dust particles, pollutants, that will be settled down here and comes out through this way. And this is where we can see particulate matter. So now, whatever the dirty air which is entering into the scrubber is devoid of SO2, which is going to act as a harmful gases when it is added to the atmosphere, and also it is devoid of the particulate matter. So the rest is a clean air that is coming from other side of the scrubber. So in this way, the scrubber as well as electrostatic precipitator are the two methods by which we are converting the dirty or polluted air into clean air, right? By understanding the image, by understanding the methods by which we can purify the air, let's move on to the theory matter. So there are several methods, several ways of removing particulate matter. Particulate matter, PM. Okay, remember this. So, the most widely used of which is, as we already discussed, electrostatic precipitator. Electrostatic precipitator as well as scrubber, right? In the electrostatic precipitator, this is very, very important point. We can able to remove, which can remove over 99%, 99% of total particulate matter. Particulate matter present in the exhaust gases that are coming from the thermal power plant. So up to 99% of the particulate matter can be successfully removed by using this electrostatic precipitator. Now, so here we already know that inside the electrostatic precipitator, we do find it has electrode wire, right? Negatively charged electrode wire that are maintained at several thousand volts, which produces a discharge corona, nothing but it releases electrons. Electrical discharge, that means releases electrons. And this released electrons will fix over each and every dust particle. These electrons attaches to each and every dust particle, attaches to dust particles, giving them a net negative charge. So as we already said, if you think this is a dust particle, the released electrons are going to attach to this dust particle, making this dust particle negatively charged. Okay. Now, the collecting plates which have been grounded, we already have shown the image, right? These are the collection of plates. Collection plate grounded. Now, the collecting plates are grounded and attracts the charged dust particle, negatively charged dust particle, because these collecting plates will have positive charge over it. So therefore, it has electron wire and here. As the electron wire produces the discharge of electrons, the released electrons go and fit on to the dust particle and dust particle will get negative charge. And this negatively charged particles will be trapped by the positively charged collecting plates. Now, here in the collecting plates, if you think these are the collecting plates, the velocity of the air between the plates is maintained such that it is low enough to allow the dust to fall to allow the dust to fall and to get trapped onto this positively charged collecting plates. That is how the dust particle has been trapped by the collecting plates that are present in the electrostatic precipitator. Now, let's move on to the scrubber. This is very, very simple, where it traps the CO2 and it also traps the particulate matter that is present in the dirty air, releasing a clean air. The scrubber can remove gases like CO2, sulfur dioxide. In a scrubber, the exhaust gases is passed through a spray of water and lime. And this is important, where it reacts with the CO2, results in the formation of calcium sulfate, thereby trapping it and resulting in the release of the free, that is clean air, right? Now, so this is all about the methods by which the particulate matter can be separated that are present in the air. Now, recently, we have realized the dangers of a particulate matter that are very, very small in size. The very small particulate matters are very, very dangerous because they can have an ability to pass, to reach to the deeper layers of our lungs, thereby causing a severe symptoms, severe problems. So they are very, very small and are not removed by these precipitators. So they are very small such that they can easily escape and can't be trapped by the precipitators. And the released very small particulate matters are very, very dangerous for the humans. So here, according to the Central Pollution Control Board, CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board, particulate size, this is very, very important, particulate size which is having 2.5 micrometers or less than 2.5 micrometer, which is denoted as PM 2.5. PM, this is very important, it will come in your MCQs in NEET. So PM 2.5, that is particulate matter having 2.5 micrometer diameter in size, that is the meaning. So here, particulate size 2.5 micrometer are less than that we denote as PM 2.5, are responsible for causing greatest harm to the human health. So that is why it is very, very important, and the denotion and it denotes like a PM 2.5. Now, so how it is going to show its effect? As we already said that, as it is having a very, very small size, small in size, it is easily inhaled and reaches to the deeper level. This fine particulates, very, very small in size particulates, can be inhaled deep into the lungs and can cause breathing and respiratory symptoms, which includes irritation, inflammation, swelling, such that the way become very, very narrow down and it results in the difficulty in breathing, damage to the lungs, and premature death. So that is this itself will give you how dangerous the particulate matter when they are present at very, very smaller sizes. Like the PM 2.5 are very, very dangerous because it is able to cause so many respiratory related problems, and finally it may lead to premature death also. Now, automobiles are a major cause for atmospheric pollution, at least in the metro cities. Not only in the metro cities, now the number of automobiles has been increased as the human needs are also increasing. The number of the automobiles used are also increasing. So as the number of the vehicles increases on the street, definitely it is problem now shifting to the other cities also. It is not like metro cities are the most developed cities. Even the other cities also facing the same problem. Traffic, sound, noise, and even air pollution, right? Proper maintenance of automobiles, giving the automobiles to the regular services. Along with that, usage of lead-free petrol, lead-free petrol or diesel can reduce the pollutants that they are emitted by these automobiles. These are very, very important. 2 points to be remembered here. These are preliminary initiatives what we can take against this air pollution. We can say that by giving the automobiles to the regular services, that means the maintenance of the automobiles at a correct condition. And the second one is the usage of lead free. This is important. Why that lead free? Because this lead is going to act as a catalyst trapper. We're going to understand soon. So, most of the automobiles, if they have been fixed with the converters, and that converters are called as catalytic converters. As I already said that this lead is going to stop this catalyst. And we are mentioning about catalytic converter. Catalytic. So here we are using the converters. We are fixing these converters to the automobiles. For what? Let's understand. So that converters are nothing but catalytic converters. Catalytic converters which are having a very expensive metals, namely platinum, palladium, and rhodium. Platinum, palladium, rhodium. These are the expensive metals where we can see in the catalytic converters. What this catalytic converters is doing actually in the automobiles. As a catalyst, these are the metals which we are using as a catalyst, and we said that lead can trap this catalyst, right? Are fitted into the automobiles for reducing the emission of poisonous gases. So here, the catalytic converters where some of the expensive metals like platinum, palladium or rhodium will act as a catalyst, and this catalyst will stop or decrease the emission of poisonous gases. That means to reduce the emission of the poisonous gases, we are using catalytic converters. We are fitting these catalytic converters to the automobiles. If that automobile, we are using the lead containing diesel, the lead which is present in the diesel or the petrol, it is going to trap the catalysts. And it is going to trap the catalyst means it is not letting the catalyst to reduce the emission of the poisonous gases. Thereby, the government is suggesting you to use lead-free petrol and diesel now. So here, as the exhaust passes through the catalytic converter, what is actually happening? We know that by now, we understand that this catalytic converters reduces the emission of the poisonous gases into the atmosphere. Now, how it is going to reduce the emission of the poisonous gases? Here, what it is doing, the converter made this unburnt, which is not completely burnt, unburnt hydrocarbons. We know these hydrocarbons are very, very dangerous that are going to add up to the pollution of the air. Now, this converter is letting this unburnt hydrocarbons to be converted, are going to convert into carbon dioxide and water. And also, carbon monoxide and nitric oxide are changed into carbon dioxide and nitrogen gas respectively. So, here, the catalyst which is present in the catalytic converter are useful to catalyze the reactions. First reaction, where the unburnt hydrocarbons are converted into carbon dioxide and water, and carbon monoxide as well as nitric oxide are going to convert into nitrogen and carbon dioxide. So these reactions are catalyzed by the catalytic converter. And what are the elements that are acting as a catalyst? Here, that is expensive metals like platinum, palladium, rhodium. As the lead stops the catalytic activity, this reaction will take place. As this reaction carry out, it leads to the release of the poisonous gases. That is an importance of your catalytic converter that are going to fix to your automobiles to reduce the emission of poisonous gases. Now, so motor vehicles equipped, fitted with catalytic Catalytic converters should use, this is what, unleaded. That means lead free. If it is containing lead, it is going to trap the catalyst. It is going to trap the catalyst because lead in the petrol inactivates the catalyst. If this catalyst is not present, then the reactions doesn't happen, right? So that reactions has to happen, thereby we can reduce the emission of the poisonous gases. Now, so moving on. In India, air protection and control of pollution, air prevention and control of pollution acts came into the force. Year is important, 1981, but was amended, modified in the year 1987 to include noise as a air pollutant. Noise as a air pollutant. Noise is undesirable high level of sound. What is noise? It's an undesirable, unwanted high level of sound. If the sound is present at a low level, it will not interfere. If it is going to be high, and that what we call it is an unwanted, undesired, and exposing to such loud sound, what we now call it as a noises, will deteriorate the health of the ears. That is hearing capacity of the humans and also animals. So here we have got used to associate loud sounds with pleasure and entertainment by not realizing that noise causes psychological and physiological disorders in humans. The disorders like we already know hearing capacity and affected to the eardrum. If the cities are bigger, definitely the bigger the city, the bigger the function, the greater the noise, which leads to much stressful conditions that finally leads to the unhealthy atmosphere for the human survival. A brief exposure, short-time exposure, a brief exposure to extremely high sound level, that is 150 decibels, are more generated by takeoff of a jet plane or rocket, may damage eardrums, hearing capacity, thus permanently impairing hearing ability of the humans. Even that is a brief exposure. This is chronic, that means long-term exposure. Even long-term exposure to relative, if the sounds are very relatively low, we thought that it is not going to show any effect. But if we keep on exposing to that low level sounds also for a longer duration of time, that is chronic exposure. Chronic exposure to relatively lower noise level of cities may permanently damage hearing ability of humans. Noise also causes no sleep, sleeplessness, no sleep, sleeplessness, increased heartbeat, altered breathing patterns, difficulty in breathing, and considerably stressing humans, unhealthy atmosphere for the humans. Protection, I mean, reduction of this noise is very, very essential. Thereby, we can reduce the air pollution also, because the noise is treated as an potent pollutant of the air. Reduction of noise in our industries, how can we achieve this? How can we reduce the noise coming from the industries? Can be affected by using sound absorbent materials which can trap the sound, which can reduce the sound, or by muffling noise or trapping the noise, right? Now, stringent, very strict, stringent following of laws laid down in relation to noise, like delimitation of horn-free zones around hospitals, schools, And permeable, that means the duration to which the sound level of the crackers is permissible. It is allowed to be to the shorter duration of time. Now, permissible sound levels of crackers and also loudspeakers, timing after which the loudspeakers cannot be played. That means we are giving a time restriction during up to which time this is up to this to this time the playing of the loudspeakers or whatever is allowed, after which it is not allowed to play any loudspeakers in the cities or in the metro cities. Thereby we can reduce, we can't completely eliminate the situation, but we can have a measure to reduce the sound, that is noise, etc., need to be enforced to protect ourselves from noise pollution. Now, within very large population of vehicular traffic, Delhi leads the country in its level of air pollution. It has more cars than the states of Gujarat and West Bengal put together. The sentence is to make you imagine the number of the cars that were present in the Delhi. Now, in the 1990s, Delhi ranked fourth among the 41 most polluted cities of the world. So, to avoid the situation, air pollution problem in the Delhi becomes so serious that a public interest litigation, public interest litigation was filed, complaint was filed in the Supreme Court of India after being censured, disapproved so strongly by the Supreme Court, very strongly by the censure means strongly disapproved, very strongly by the Supreme Court. Under its directives, the government was asked to take some of the measures, and in that, some of the measures were listed down like within a specific time period, appropriate measures, including switching over to the entire fleet of the public transport, public buses, that is buses, from diesel to compressed natural gases. That means usage of the diesel has been replaced by the compressed natural gas, and that is called as CNG. So the diesel buses are replaced by CNG, compressed natural gas buses. Public transportation has been changed, replaced by the compressed natural gas using buses. Now, all the buses of Delhi were converted to run on CNG by the end of the 2002. CNG buses burns more effectively, efficiently, unlike the petrol or diesel in the automobiles, and very little of it is left unburnt. It burns so effectively such that it releases very less amount of unburnt. Now, so moreover, CNG is cheaper when compared to the petrol or the diesel, cannot be siphoned off by the still by the because it is in a gaseous form. Thieves unadulterated means impurities cannot be added, unlike that can be done in the case of petrols or the diesels. These are all the advantages that are coming from the CNG, but the CNG also have its own limitation, and that limitation is the main problem with the switching over to the CNG is a difficulty in laying down pipelines to deliver CNG through distribution points or pumps and ensuring the uninterrupted supply. This is the major limitation that is coming in case of the usage of CNG, compressed natural gas. Now, simultaneously, parallel steps taken in Delhi for reducing vehicular pollution includes phasing off all the old vehicles, use of unlead, do not contain lead, petrol, and use of low sulfur petrol and diesel, use of catalytic converters in the vehicles, and application of stringent, very strict pollution level norms for vehicles, etc. Norms or standards, rules, regulations to be followed. The government of India, through a new auto fuel policy, had laid down a roadmap to cut down vehicular pollution that is happening in the Indian cities. More stringent norms for fuel means steadily, slowly reducing the sulfur and aromatic content that is present in the petrol and diesel fuel. And according to the Euro 3rd norms, Euro 3rd norms are standards. For example, stipulate that sulfur be controlled at 350 ppm parts per million in diesel, and in petrol it should be 150 ppm. That is sulfur to be controlled to the level of 350 ppm in diesel and 150 ppm in petrol. Now, aromatic hydrocarbons are to be contained at 42% of the concerned fuel. So these are all the norms that were given to the fuel that is using. Now, the goal, according to the roadmaps, is to reduce sulfur. Sulfur has to be reduced by 50 ppm in petrol and diesel and bringing down to the level of 35%. This is the set goal. It has to be reduced by the 35%. Now, corresponding to the fuel, vehicle engines, not only to the fuel, vehicle engines will also need to be upgraded. Every time it has to be upgraded and maintained in a good condition. And these are the tabular column which gives the standards, norms of mass emission standards. Mass emission standards, bar stage 2, which is equivalent to the Euro 2 norms. Euro 2 norms. And this Euro 2 norms are no more applicable in any of the cities of the India. Now the applicable norm is bar stage 4. Details of the latest mass emission standards in India are provided below, where whether it is four-wheeler or whether it is three-wheeler or whether it is two-wheeler, cars, autos, bikes, four or two or three-wheelers has to follow the norms of bar stage 4. Bar stage 4 in the cities of implied like throughout the country since 1st April 2017. 1st April 2017. 1st April 2017. So here from the April 2017, first is indicated towards the three-wheelers. These are the norms to be followed in the countries now. Thanks to all the effects that has been taken, like taking the usage of the lead-free petrol and also upgrading the engines and also decreasing the sulfur concentration, all these things, thanks to the efforts made, measures taken, by taking all these measures, the air quality of the Delhi has significantly improved. And according to an estimate, in substantial fall in CO2 and as well as SO2 levels has been found in Delhi between the years 1997 and 2005. By taking all these effects, by taking all these efforts and following all the measures, it will estimated that the substantial fall in the concentration of the CO2 as well as concentration in the SO2 has been reported from the Delhi between 1997 and 2005. Yeah. So in this class, we have discussed in detail about air pollution and also the measures to be taken to reduce the air pollution. In the coming up class, let's discuss about the water pollution in detail. Until then, keep learning with vlearning. Thank you.